Right, my September update, I guess. We'll just ignore the fact I didn't do one in August. We'll cover that at the end, I guess. So what have I done? So as you can see, the car's kind of gone backwards quite a few steps, but for good big reasons. So we'll start off, been playing with the gearbox tunnel. I realised after I fitted it with the cable and that the hole I drilled in the top was not big enough to fit the cable through. And because I was in a massive rush, I decided to run the cable through the other way. So on this cable kit, you've got like a fixed bolt, like a fixing plate on one end, which was too large for the hole I'd done, which I think the hole was 18mm at the time. I've oversized them now so it fits. So what I did instead was I poked the other end of the cable through and then connected it to the shifter, like linkage, from underneath the car. And that was all good, apart from the fact it wouldn't quite select gears properly, which obviously doesn't matter because the car's not running. So, but I wanted it to be able to have park and stuff. But I realised that if I did this in the future, we're going to struggle to adjust the linkage because you couldn't get to it from underneath. So what I've done is I've cut a sort of access panel and put some little tabs in. I've spaced them back slightly so my plate fits in, and along with the piece of rubber that goes behind it to keep it all nice and sealed up. It's been all freshly painted, which is why it's sat up on the bench still. And also it's not fitted because we've been running transmission lines. That's what we've been doing actually today. So that's also why all the front ends apart, to give us as much access as possible. So here's my trans cooler down at the front, and our sort of plan is going to be to run hoses, like we're going to run hoses up to just behind the radiator, and then we'll flexi line round on this bar straight underneath, straight into 90s, straight into it. I was going to hardline the whole lot and run a fitting like this, sort of 1/2 inch 90 into a 10mm adapter, but I've kind of thought that if there's any flex or anything, the old rad's going to take a bit of a, this all being aluminium is going to take a bit of a beating, and radiators aren't really that strong, especially not these. So we're going to flexi line to it just in case. So here we are so far with our hoses. The other side's fallen off because they're not actually tight yet. So here's it in there. So here's this side. Well, both sides. They come out of the bulkhead just here. Run along. I need to put some different P-clips and fittings in. I started drilling one just under here, and then got distracted helping with other bits of the job. And they go into the car. I'll show you that end. So we've got these real nifty, I think you've seen them on my fuel system already, bulkhead couplings, 10mm straight into 90s. They're actually really hard to get, but luckily when you've got a sponsor who's a hydraulic company, you can get these sort of things a bit easier. But yeah, if you ever find them, they're definitely worth using because it just saves so much room. So plan's going to be these run straight down to the floor, along, and they'll follow the fuel line along, and then kind of cross under the seat into these two bulkhead unions here. Ignore my sketchy drawing. This box was going to be my sort of fitting area, and I've already gone outside of it, but this is the actual movement of the seat when he's as far as he can forward, so we should be fine. And ultimately it's the passenger seat, so how often are they going to be moving their seat? Why do they need to? They don't, so it'll be fine. We were going to run into the 90s again, but realised didn't quite have room, so we've done straight bulkhead fittings into 90s to then come back. We're going to run, instead of doing this as one full line, which we could, so I had my mate Paul out, who's an ace at bending pipes. We've decided we'll go with a joiner for, basically if I have to take the box out, it's easy then, undo this end, take the pipe which then goes round to the side of the box, and then the box is released. So it's a lot easier for removal of the box, which hopefully won't happen very often at all, but you never know. Well, I do actually have to lift the box to change the filter and change the oil and stuff, but that's just one of those things. So let's show you the other side. So this is how we've done the other side. So NTP fittings into, oh, I can't remember what the thread size is for the next one, into a double connector, into then a 90 to then run backwards along. The reason why we're running backwards instead of straight forward like you would normally find is just the fact that we're so close on our bulkhead and stuff that it would be tricky. I mean, you've got this gap up here, but then you're running straight into the exhaust lines, and not exhaust lines, you know what I mean, the exhaust pipes. So that's probably less than convenient, really. You don't want to get pipes hot. And I wanted it all hard line because I can really, because everything's solid mounted, it won't matter if the pipes are solid mounted. But also, we're never going to get a problem. This is proper hydraulic line, so this is rated up to, you know, what's it rated up to? I think it's 4,000 bar. So we're never going to break it with pressure. So that'll be cushy. And same when we make the flexi line on the front, we'll do that through work. So that'll be high rated pipe as well. So we should be absolutely fine. We'll never get problems with bursting any pipes or anything. And also it means with like the stuff down the front, because ultimately that is in the way, that is where people's feet go. But the pipes can be so strong that it will never matter if people's feet are against it. Unless they had angle grinders attached to them, but it will be good. It will be good. I've still got to run a brake line, just using the pipe, up to here to then run a flexi to the vacuum port of the box. Just again, because it's simpler than going forward, going out, and plus it can just all attach to these pipes. So that'll be pretty easy. Because we came out today with all the bits for fitting poses and stuff, with these nice like hole punches. Is that what you'd call them? So we were able to do some nice big holes for me to be able to run the water temperature sensor thing through. I'll show you why that's an issue in a minute. So through that hole currently is the GPS sender, which on the end of the wire has a nut. So your hole has to be bigger than the nut. Similar problem for the well, I guess the problem isn't anywhere near as big for the oil. This is a proper little business to wiring. Don't look at it. For the oil pressure one, he's not much bigger, but the water temperature sensor, oh my goodness, is a big old boy. So you have to get all of this through, and that's 17.5 mil. Yeah, so you need a minimum of 17.5 mil hole, which annoyingly we didn't have that in the punch size. So this is actually a 20 mil hole, but it does the job. You can't disconnect it off the back of the water pump. It's all sort of integrated because it's a capillary system. So a bit annoying really, because like the oil pressure one you can, but I guess that works on pressure, and the water temperature one probably works more on magic, who knows. So that's that. We've been looking at electric water pumps this week, thinking we're going all out. So been looking at the wiring diagrams today, and I'm thinking I'm going to change one of my wires around, because I don't want to add more switches. I need to add 2 switches to this car, which I'm going to do sort of just behind where my shifter goes. I'll put a little plate, 2 switches. I'm going to put a line lock switch there, because I feel that when I'm running the line lock, so if you need to turn it off in an emergency or really quickly, me sticking my hand up and trying to find the right button is probably not ideal. So I'm going to put that down here, remove him off the panel, so then the panel can have the water pump on him. And the other switch I need down here is going to be for the transmission lock, because I've got not transmission lock, I guess. I mean the torque converter. That's what I mean. Because I can lock the torque converter whenever I want. So I need a switch in a very convenient place really for locking that. So it makes sense that they're both next to the shifter. I need to run a couple of cables to the shifter anyway, so I can have my neutral lockout. Because if you don't run neutral lockout on auto boxes, you're mad, you're crazy, because people get hurt. So yeah, that's kind of all I've been doing. Yeah, that's kind of all I've been doing. I've been playing with the brake system as well. We've got a couple of drippy pipes. I'm trying to chase and work out where we're dripping from. I keep getting, I had fluid. I get fluid in the bottom of this pipe, which is, oh man, you didn't see that at all. On the bottom of this pipe, which is annoying. Come on, focus, which I think is this. I tightened him up. There doesn't seem to be any more on there today. so that's good. But I've also been having some fluid sitting on top of those red wires, and trying to work out where that's coming from has been weird, because obviously fluid can only run down, it doesn't tend to run up. So that's been a bit confusing. But then ended up today, I went and knocked on the pots off. So yeah, that's sent a load of brake fluid everywhere as well. That doesn't help. But yeah, so I've been just trying to check that. My big fear is that I'm going to end up over tightening something and breaking it. But yeah. So big news is Friday coming up. What's that? The 6th. I'm collecting the engine, the other engine that I've purchased. Saturday we're going to strip it and find out exactly what parts I need to order. Sunday I'm going to order all the parts, and then Monday I'll be bankrupt and poor and hungry. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Engine build is starting. So I can now strip all the front end back off, because Paul's been now, those front pipes are pretty much run, so you can see where things are. So I can pull the radiator and the transcooler off. The transcooler will probably have to go back on, but that's no hassle. But the main thing is the engine can come out the hole and out the way, which would be convenient, and we can then start getting ready for the new one, which would be cool. So yeah, I know a few videos ago I said that I was going to have July I was going to have July off from working on the car, have a break, keep motivation, that sort of thing. And well, that became a couple of months, so August then went by, and I popped out a couple of times, and I just lost most of it, motivation. That happens sometimes with big projects. I would lie to you and tell you I did other things that are more important, but that's completely not true. Basically, time just got away from me, and yeah, that is what it is. The start of September, I've been in Greece for all of that, so that wrote off most of September. And today I came out earlier in the week and got a few things ready, and then today's been the big day working on it again. But I'm pretty keen again. We've got things lined up happening, so should help the motivation kick up. I'm thinking I might book a racing event for early part of next year over at Santa Pod, try and book in a Run What You Brung to do a bit of a shakedown, which should hopefully then give us motivation to get it done. But ultimately I would like to drive it, sort of get about 1,000 miles on it before I actually commit to anything like that. But we should have time. I think having something booked is the best way to keep things going, keep the, what's the word am I thinking of? Keep the enthusiasm up. But yeah, big long projects, it's very easy to lose a bit of motivation, and it is what it is. But yeah, so hopefully next video, trans lines will all be in. We'll have a little bit of engine updates, and I don't know where we'll be by the end of the month, really, to fully tell you. I need to order some parts tonight, just some little bits, got a little list written, and go from there. But big things still to happen, obviously, engine go in. I need to reweigh the car when everything's back together, because the spring weights are horrendously wrong, that you saw in the other videos where the car sits so low and it's down on the ground, and those springs are wound pretty far down. And I did a quick bit of maths with the weights we got earlier in the year, which were, I can't remember, 630 kilos this car sat at. And yeah, those springs were nowhere near right. So yeah, they definitely need to be increased. And I'm thinking I'll get longer springs as well, because got all that room at the top there, as well as yeah, that'll be another expensive trip, but it is what it is. So yeah, cool, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely update next month, I promise. Take it easy.